Alrighty, test drive time. This is exciting. It's the end of winter here in Sydney. I'm at beautiful Akuna Bay. It's about an hour's north of Sydney, at the Dalbora Marina, Akuna Bay location, which is just absolutely stunning place to come and spend some time. And that's why we're here. In terms of what am I seeing, everything here is super high quality, and it's worth noting that the M45 is, I guess, one step in the range. You can step up to the Super Sport, which is the next step up in quality. So if this is what their lower grade model is supposed to look like, well then I can't wait to see the Super Sport. How do I feel? Well, this seat, I don't know if you can see, it's really strong. It's obviously got stainless steel supports, and as a driver, you feel like you've got plenty of support from your lower back, your upper sort of midsections, and also your legs. This is not a seat you're going to fall out of, so that's a good thing. I also notice it goes forward and aft, so I can actually spin the boat, or spin the seat around, I should say, to face my guests. But from a driving position, I can move it forward and aft, and I can also, I'm pretty sure it goes up and down. Yeah, I think it's got some up and down movement as well, but don't hold me to that. So my right arm rests really naturally on this armrest just here. This has got the Yamaha, Yamaha, sorry. This has got the Yamaha 250. So you can go up to 300 horsepower on this particular model, but the throttle, it's ergonomic. You know, what can you say? Outboard, it's the way to go these days. Not always, but we'll get to that in the walkthrough. It's easy to hand, very comfortable, and you could even, I think you would even possibly find yourself when you're underway, kicking back with your feet like so, arm up here or down here, because that's quite a sort of natural place for your arm to rest. In terms of the wheel, this is a nice wheel. It's good to see a manufacturer not just using those standard wheels like so many boat builders do. This has got some like this chrome look on the inside, a metal interior. Oh, look at that. Even the Monterey symbol. That's cool. It spins around, so as you turn the wheel, the Monterey symbol stays level. That's just a neat little touch. Typical American boat builder thing, I gotta say. They're always going for the extra sort of level in quality. But I've got a stitched finish. This looks like a Silvertech, so it's good to see dark colour up here, so you're not going to get any glare in your face with a nice sunny day like today. Now it's worth noting, there is sun protection for this boat, but I took it off for the shoot because I thought the thing looked sexier without it. But you can have all that. We've got some powder coated black aluminium going around on this windscreen here. That's all toughened glass, and then the dash itself, sensible, smart, and practical is what I'm seeing. So I can see 2 USB chargers just here. Don't know what that is. Oh, that's an AUX for your stereo, but I suppose you probably do your Bluetooth these days. Cup holder, that will take a beer with a cooler, so that's good. We got our instrumentation here, so that's an all analog display. I've got my speed, I've got my revs, I've got a digital cycle, which I've got it on fuel at the moment, but volts, PSI. Okay, so all your other engine information is just fed out through there. And then what am I looking at here? Okay, that's kilometers. Trim, why do I have 2? Oh, miles. Okay, all right, American. And depth sounder just here. Moving over to the right hand side of the dash, we've got the Lenco trim tabs. We'll see if we use them today. Switch down here, can't actually see what that is. Let's have a look. Oh, that's the windlass operation. So we've got electric windlass operated from the helm, so that's cool. Key start for the outboard, so that was easy to operate when I started that just before, and your main batteries is just back here. So this little opening door here has got your main battery switch, and I did also notice an emergency jump start, couple little spots there to emergency jump start it if you needed. Now on the starboard bank, you got the underwater lights, we got the speaker lights, we got the water pressure system, deck lights, and cockpit lights. So that's obviously lights on starboard and systems on port. So I got horn, I got the bilge manual override, blower, navigation, and engine hatch is operated here. And here's my Fusion stereo which has also got the Bluetooth there. I can see my big subwoofer speaker just down at my feet on the starboard side, and yeah, I like this from a comfort perspective. That's good. But let's just see what the transition is like. Yeah, that's good. I like this view. This is nice. This would be great on a hot day. So I would definitely drive the boat from this position. Let's see how it is standing. This wheel is also adjustable. Yep, okay. All right, well, we're just about to get out of the 4 knot zone, or we have left the 4 knot zone, so I think it's time we get this boat up on the plane and just see how she rides. Before I do that, I mentioned it's the 250 horsepower. You can go up to 300 horsepower. I don't think the guys are absolutely committed to Yamaha. I'm pretty sure Mercury would be an option as well. Look, in this day and age, with the amount of engines being sold around the world, you just got to take what you can get. But absolutely more than enough power, what I'm assuming, and we're about to find out. In terms of the hull design, she's got 20-degree dead rise back at the transom. That looks like it comes all the way to the back of the boat. And I did notice in the drawings a couple of air channels, so we'll see what sort of effect that has. I've been lucky enough to drive a lot of Regals in the past. Montereys. What did I say Regal for? I've been lucky enough to drive a lot of Montereys in the past on my brokerage, and they've always impressed me. Like, if you were going to grade the various American sports cruisers, the Florida builds, I'd definitely be putting this in the upper echelon in terms of quality and ride quality. But I haven't driven one with this wider bow section before, and I'm imagining that might have like the effect of keeping the boat a little bit dry, throwing some of that spray out and sending it out to the side. So we'll find out. Let's get the boat up on the plane. All right, so a little bit of travel on the throttle there before the engine starts to respond. That's probably a good thing. You know, if you had kids or guests driving the boat and they give the throttle a little knock, or even if you were new to boating in a parking situation and you might be a little bit nervous at the helm, you know, having that extra little bit of travel on the throttle can be a good thing, because if you over rev the thing, you're less likely to hit the dock. So that's good. Now I'm just going to feel my way through the rev range, and so I've climbed through 1,500 revs. I've got engine trim all the way down. I've got 0 trim tabs, and the boat tracks quite straight. We're obviously in very flat conditions here, but that's kind of what you'd be doing on a boat like this, so it's a good test. We'll bring that up to 2,000 revs, and once again tracking straight. My speeds sort of probably climbing. I don't have a GPS speed on here, so I'm going to estimate this. This feels like about 10 knots. And now I'm rolling through 2,200 to 2,500. At 2,200, you can see the bow raise starts to come up, and I'm digging my ass a little bit into the water. So that's, I think, where the boat, you just want to commit to getting on the plane. So let's do that. I'm going to commit to getting on the plane, just giving a little bit more acceleration. Now you can feel those 250 horses starting to kick in. I'm doing this gradually because I want the camera boat to keep up. And yeah, that feels good. I'm going to assume the seated position. So I'm just going to let the boat sit there. I'm at 3,300 revs. I could have been comfortable at the seated or the standing position. I think through that process is what I'm trying to say. But one of the things I noticed, or am noticing, is the wind. The wind starts here. So I can, okay, now I'm in the wind and now I'm not, but just here, the wind's going straight over my head. So that's kind of cool. So you can, if you want to increase your visibility, your hat's not going to blow off. And if you want to sit down, you've still got adequate protection. And I don't feel the wind penetrating even to back this level here. No wind to wind. So guests in this part of the boat are going to be comfortable, and they're going to be warm. So I'm just sitting on 3,500 revs. The boat feels comfortable at this speed. I'm just going to sit there, and I'm going to play with the trim. I'm just going to give a little bit of engine trim up. So I can feel the revs picking up there, but I don't feel the hull wants that, I think. I'm just gonna drop that trim. Yeah, she's much happier at, I think as a cruising speed, she's much happier at 3,000 to 3,200 revs and engine trim down. So now I'm going to play with the trim tabs. I'm just going to lower the tabs now, just see what happens there. Okay, I am seeing the boat drop her nose. And I think if I was in a choppy water situation and going into the wind, then that's when I would want to lower the nose. But in flat water scenario like this, I would not bother about it. So now I'm just going to do a turn. I'm just going to do a slow turn. We'll try and keep that camera boat in shot. Okay, I'll let you guys catch up there. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay, we'll go through these waves and we'll just see how she feels. Okay, did you see that? The wash went out to the side. That's interesting. I suspected that might be what might happen on this particular hull design, because if you follow the Mini Transat, the little crazy Frenchmen who sail across the Atlantic Ocean, they are starting to sail these bulbous bow little 7 metre, 8 metre yachts all the way across from Europe to America, racing. They're crazy Frenchmen, but they're going for these fuller bows because they send the wash out and it provides the driver with a much more comfortable, not driver, the skipper, the helmsman, with a much more comfortable experience. So I think with this design, I think we're benefiting from two things: the extra volume that we've got up in the bow, but also the ability to keep the passengers on board dry in moderate conditions. Obviously out in ocean conditions and that sort of stuff, it's going to be wet as all buggery, but that's not what you use a boat like this for, so that's kind of not the point. All right, just going to, I'm liking that 3,200 revs. Oh, and here we go, I've got speeds now. Okay, so this is a speed through the water sensor, not a GPS. It's a pressure sensor, obviously, and that's kicked in. I'm registering, what am I registering? About 25 mile an hour at cruise. That's miles, not knots, because this is in American. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do another turn just down here. We'll just do a nice slow turn, and let the guys, before I get into that 4 knot zone. So we've felt the cruising. I think I understand the hull. Now it's time to go fast. So let's do this. I'll let you guys catch up. We're going to go pedal to the metal. So checking the swell, yes, out to the side. Let's give it some. Okay, rolling through 3,500, 4,000, 4,500. Wow, the pickup's really good there. And 5,000 revs. I'm not at wide open yet. The wind barrier is coming down a little bit at that speed. I'm going to give it slight trim up to see how that feels. So I think at that 5,000 rev range, she wants a little bit of engine trim up, just a tiny bit. I'm talking a degrees. And now on this straight here, I'm just going to go full wide open. I'm sitting on 5,000 and I've got 5,100, 5,200, no trim tabs, holding a straight line, and I'm going to give it another degree or two of engine trim up. There you go, 5,300, 5,000, let's get to 5,500. Oh yeah, oh, she's hauling. Okay, this is good. This feels really lively. She becomes a bit light on the steering at this speed, and yeah, this is fun. This is the sort of experience young kids are going to absolutely enjoy belting around with their skis, their wakeboards, and their water toys. Oh, bushfire, I can smell that. So I'm just going to hook it around. So engine trim down. So you do want to drop that engine trim at it for a high-speed turn, or I think you would possibly expose the boat to a little bit of cavitation. You always got to think about that, because when you've got boats that are designed for both stern drive and outboard, the weight distribution, center of gravity, and the prop position is going to be different. So there's pros and cons for both, and I certainly am a fan of outboards, and I would get a boat like this with the outboard, but you just got to be aware, and I'll probably talk in more detail about that when we do the walkthrough, because there's certain scenarios when you'd be fine with the stern drive too. So we'll give it some again. I'll just give it another blast. I'm sitting on 4,400 revs, so slow cruise, 3,200 revs gives me that 25 mile an hour. 4,400 revs gives me 35, 33, 35, and now I'm just going to give it some. And the response is good. I'm climbing through 38, 39, 40. Here's where I want to give it a little bit of engine trim up, 45. Okay, sitting on about 45, revs 5,500 and 5,600 there. Maybe that's because we're going downwind. 47 mile an hour. So I reckon I could probably get a little bit more, but it's a brand new boat and I'm not going to hammer it. So that's interesting. So the effort we go to make these videos for you guys, just so you know, Pete was hiding in the dunny that whole time. So thank you, Pete. Anyway, on more important matters, a lot of people who buy boats like this are going to possibly be quite new to the whole maneuvering and parking thing. And it's good to just get a bit of an understanding on how the boat responds at slow speeds. This is likely a boat that you're going to keep in a dry stack. You know, here we are at Akuna Bay. This is the absolute perfect destination for storing a boat like this, because they will drop it in and out of the water for you. You don't have to anti-foul the boat. They'll flush the motor for you, and it just means the boat's ready to rock and roll and not sitting there deteriorating like a boat that's sitting in salt water. So that's a good thing, and that means your journey into the whole boating life is going to be a much more hassle-free one. But you just need to think about coming into the dock. So when are you going to come into the dock? You're going to get fuel, you're going to take off from here, and you're going to go get fish and chips somewhere else. So understanding if it's a boat that you can do that is pretty important. So let's give it a try. So with this motor engaging in and out of gear, I can feel there's enough torque at the prop that she wants to go, so that's important. In terms of the travel left and right of the motor, there's enough to make the thing spin around when you need it to do 3-point turns and all that sort of stuff. And look, it's not a super deep fee hull, so she's not always going to track immediately straight, but because of this motor being what she is, you should be able to just, yeah. See, that's all you need. As long as you've got enough travel. Touch it up on the fenders, reach off and grab your lines. So I'm not worried about that. So what's my wrap up on the performance of the Monterey M-45? This is the perfect boat to take your family out for some summer fun. If you are new to boating, or if you want to upgrade your weekends, if you want to be that awesome dad creating the fantastic memories, then this is the sort of boat that's going to do it for you. It's going to be very cost effective to operate, very cost effective to buy, very cost effective to own. And it's also going to get you your experience level, your knowledge base on all things boating and boats of this style up to a level where you can take it to the next step. You know, if you could see yourself climbing the ladder of the boating fun, then this is the boat to do it with. I'm Dan Jones, this is Dan's Boat Life. See you on the next one.